here.
Yeah, agree. All right, number 3. Who claims the number 2 running back spot? Josh Jacobs is the undisputed lead back, but a fierce competition is brewing for the critical running back 2 role. On one side is Marshawn Lloyd, a 2024 third-round pick with dynamic potential, looking to expand his role in his second year. On the other is Emanuel Wilson, who proved reliable and productive in 2024. The front office must decide whether to lean into their draft investment in Lloyd or reward the on-field production of Wilson. This battle is more than just a backup spot. It's about defining the backfield's identity behind Jacobs and ensuring there's no drop-off when he needs a breather. And I love this topic here because Emanuel Wilson last year, guys, the 12th highest graded running back according to PFF with an 82.9. Josh Jacobs graded out as the third best at a 92.3. Chris Brooks, much like Dontavion Wicks, 65.6, solid grade. He can block. He can catch the ball out of the backfield, the whole 9 yards. Marshawn Lloyd, very, very, very minimal snaps, 53.3, but it was minimal snaps. They want Marshawn Lloyd to be that dude. But, Tim, I don't know how you feel, man. I would not try. I don't have too much pride to say, you know what, if Emanuel Wilson is that much better than Marshawn Lloyd, keep rolling with Emanuel Wilson. And I hate to say this, but I'm going to. Injuries are going to happen. Both of these guys are going to get playing time. But, again, as the question asked, who's going to take that number 2 running back spot? What do you think? Do you think there's a chance that Marshawn Lloyd takes it from Emanuel Wilson? Or do you think Emanuel Wilson continues to ball out? And how excited are you to see camp battle between these dudes in the back?
Oh, it's kind of like conflicting because they're 2 of my favorites. You know, I've been a big fan of Emanuel Wilson the past couple of years and was really excited last year to see Marshawn Lloyd in the mix. And obviously, you know, injuries kind of cheated us of that. And to me, that's the question we need to answer right now. And I think the best way to do it is if Marshawn Lloyd shows up fully healthy and he goes out there and he wins that role, if he outplays Emanuel Wilson and wins the number 2 back, then hey, more power to him. Let's see what we can do. But you know anything about E. Wilson, man, he's not going to make it easy. He has been as solid as you can be for a number 2 back, I think. And as nervous as we were when we kind of overhauled that running back room with, you know, the departure of Jonesy and you bring Jacobs in, you know, Emanuel Wilson was even kind of a question mark his rookie year. He dealt with some injury issues, didn't see, you know, very many snaps. And I think last year proved to be a reliable number 2 back. And I think it's his job to lose. And I don't think he's going to lose it. I really don't. But at the end of the day, you want to see your guys do well. But I think they have enough invested in Marshawn Lloyd to give him a chance to prove that he can. I don't think he needs to prove he can be effective. I think he's a really talented back, man. One of the best in last year's draft class for sure. He needs to prove he can stay healthy. Can he play 10 to 14, 15, 16, 18 games for us? We'll have to see.
Yeah, I think I'm with 2-0 for this here. He says, I hope they let Lloyd or Wilson actually earn it and not just hand the job to Lloyd. Yes. Wilson has been tremendous. As soon as I'm reading your comment 2-0 for this, I immediately think of Josh Myers because Josh Myers was a second-round pick. He's the center. He's going to be the starting center. When in reality, we as fans kind of picked up, hey, man, this is an issue. Like year 1 as a rookie, hey, all the grace in the world. Year 2, I want to see some, you know, improvement. I didn't see enough. Year 3, it went back. Year 4 went further back. Like at some point, you got to just chalk it up as a loss. The only thing worse than making a bad draft pick is refusing to admit you made a bad draft pick. That's the first thing that came to mind for me when I read his comment there for sure. Randy Cleaver says, Wilson is the guy. I haven't seen enough from Lloyd. As it sits right now, I agree with you, Randy. But check this out. What if we come out in the preseason? Both of those guys are getting significant carries in the 3 preseason games. And what if Marshawn Lloyd just comes out and looks all shifty like a little mini Barry Sanders or something? I will flip on Emanuel Wilson quick. Why? I want the best 11 players on the field, period.
Won't mean a hill of beans if you can't block and pass pro, baby.
Very true. Very true. And Emanuel Wilson got better at that last year, dude. He really did improve throughout the year. Greg Rice says, Lloyd is very shifty, reminds me of Aaron Jones. I could see that comp. I could see that. Runs hard, too. Runs very hard like Aaron did. That's something that we, I don't want to say it was underappreciated, but we didn't talk about enough with Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones was shifty. He could bounce it out. He could take it from B gap left to C gap right. Yeah. But boy, oh boy, he was not afraid to lower that head and try to run through a tackler, man. Holmes MD1, Lloyd does have a lot of talent, but Wilson has won the job, in my opinion. Right now, I got to agree with you for sure. 2-0 for this. Emmanuel means God with us. Enough said. Hey, I like that. I like the way you're thinking there, brother. No, let's don't overthink it here, Tim. Let's just
let's just go. Let's go with that. Hey, either way, right? Whether those are your three, right? If we're going to carry three backs, I mean, like we probably will at least, right? So whether it's Wilson's your third or Lloyd is your second or vice versa, it's hey, we're doing well if we got three solid running backs for sure.
Yeah, completely agree. All right, moving along. What does the tight end rotation look like? This has been mentioned in the chat all offseason. Like, are we going to play more 12? Well, how's that going to look with tight ends? A year ago, the Packers had two promising rookie tight ends. Now they have two legitimate offensive weapons. Tucker Kraft emerges a force after the catch, while Luke Musgrave has a high ceiling as a receiving threat. The question isn't who is better, but who the Packers will deploy or how the Packers will deploy them to maximize their talents. Will they feature more two tight end sets, creating defensive mismatches, or will Kraft's yards after catch ability demand a target share that impacts Musgrave? How Coach LaFleur utilizes the duo could reshape the offense, and finding that balance in camp is crucial to unlocking their full potential. You guys know how I feel about this. As we went through and did Chalk Talk, the top plays of 2024, every single play on that list, I want to say it was the top 10 plays that we came up with. This was immediately following the season. All 10 plays out of 11 personnel. So much like we were just talking about, play the better running back, right? Forget the draft status, just put the best 11 on the field. The same way with what personnel is working for you. Just because Musgrave's a second-round pick, I don't want them to think, oh, man, we got to get him on the field. We got to get him on the field. And then you take your most explosive deployment of your offense, which is 11 personnel, one running back, one tight end, three wide receiver sets. You take that off the field just to try to force a square peg into a round hole and get Musgrave on the field. I'm not opposed to 12 personnel, but just put the best 11 on the freaking field, man. Don't feel like you got to force that just because he was a second-round pick. I don't know how you feel about that, Tim, but with the PFF grades, Tucker Kraft, 67.8, had a great year, in my opinion. A huge step forward, going to continue to get better. A lot left on the field as well. John Fitzpatrick, 55.1. Ben Sims, 54.4. And Luke Musgrave banged up all year, 47.1. That may surprise people that his grade's that low, but
yeah.
I mean, it's what I seen on tape too, Tim. And again, I was the biggest Musgrave fan. I had him very high on our board. When we did that draft coverage, me and Ryan that year, Luke, I said live on our stream, you can go back and watch it. I said, I think this is Luke Musgrave here. Bang, they got him. The thing I didn't have, Tim, was the very next round when they took Tucker Kraft. Didn't see that one coming.
Yeah, no kidding. And aren't you glad we did it that way? I mean, think about it. You give yourself a chance for succeed or a higher chance for success because if both of these guys hit right away, it's great. If they develop at their own rates and they both turn out to be awesome, great. You could have two studs here when it's all said and done. You talk about Musgrave. I think I said this once before. This has to be the year for him. It has to be. This is going to kind of determine what direction his career is going to go in this league and the future he has with this team. So I am absolutely 100% rooting for a breakout season from Luke Musgrave, because then we have a two-headed monster in the tight end room. And then you got guys like Ben Sims, coming up behind them. And, even John Fitzpatrick, if he's on the practice squad or something, you feel really good about this tight end room, pending a breakout year from Luke Musgrave. If he doesn't take that step, I don't know. That might be a whole nother episode we could dedicate to that one.
Yeah. Let's go to the chat here as Chuck Jagger says, AFAM's mom is tight end 3. There you go. There's the lovely lady.
She can block.
I bet she can block. Greg Rice, I will be shocked if we run 11 and Musgrave is out there. I could not agree more, Greg. Taking Tucker Kraft off the field, that should warrant criminal charges on the coaching staff. I'm just telling you. Tucker Kraft, he's going to quickly become the heart and soul of this team.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not saying he's going to perform as well as George Kittle, who's a slam dunk first ballot Hall of Famer. But I'm just saying how George Kittle, he plays up here, but also the way that the team respects him and how his energy level brings everybody up here as well. Tucker Kraft's got that part down. It's just the performance is a little bit lower than George Kittle. I have no reason to believe he can't get up to that level, though, man. I
agree, and I think this may be the season that finally gets him out from under that that curtain a little bit. He's kind of been overlooked these last couple of years when it comes to your top tight end lists and in the NFL. And I think the Kittle comparison is good in the sense of, he's a team guy, he's a teammate, good teammate guy, but he also gets along with the staff. He's super coachable, interesting personality, a leader, right? Well, you see all of that with Tucker Kraft in his own way, right? Great teammate, great leader, interesting personality, right? Gets along with the staff. And I think you're right, Clay. I think the physical part of the game, his skill set is just going to continue to get better as he grows as a pro. So another guy we could be talking about a breakout year this year as well.
Yeah, Randy Cleaver says Kraft is the man. Musgrave has to prove it, much like the whole Marshawn Lloyd, Emanuel Wilson saga there. Ron Sample says Kraft gets hosed by PFF. Again, man, I use PFF. I think it's a great tool, but the thing that bothers me about PFF is explain to me why you gave that grade. They just throw a number out there. And what I love about NFL Pro is I can go in there and look at every single target, every single route ran, every single blocking rep. It's got it all earmarked there, and their stats are backed up with, hey, here's the tape. It does bother me there because I'm telling you, with the numbers that Tucker Kraft put up, how in the heck they've got him a 67.8 is mind-boggling, although that is above average, right? That's like you're cracking into, well, what was he, the 23rd best tight end in the league? That's solid, Tim, for a third-round pick. Hey, this dude is a legit starting number one tight end. However, I feel like based off what I've seen with the tape and what the numbers suggest on NFL Pro and advanced metrics, Tucker Kraft should be closer to 12, maybe even 10, somewhere in that range.
Absolutely. And to think that I don't even think we've seen his best football yet. And you think of the plethora of tape we've watched and some of the memorable plays and just, some of the plays we might have forgot about that, he did some excellent work on. It's time, man. It's crazy to think that as much as we've seen, we haven't really seen his best yet. And I think 2025 is going to be that year for sure.
Greg Rice in the chat says, boy, coming in hot here. 23 likes, 70 watching. If you guys would, we hate to ask this, but from time to time, I need to get better at it. Smash that like button for us if you like this kind of content. We go live daily. We'll give you all the coverage throughout training camp, into the season, pregame show, postgame show, all that stuff. Hit like, hit subscribe, hit that bell notification. That way you get notified every time we do go live. Because there's sometimes, Tim, especially in the winter months, once we get past October, me and you, we just wake up at 9:30 in the morning, grab a cup of coffee, and talk some ball, right? So got to have that notification on. But appreciate that, Greg. Thank you, buddy, for the reminder there. I'll make sure I hit like too. Randy Cleaver says, I think with Williams in the mix, we might break camp with 3 tight ends. It's funny you say that, Randy, because when people hear that, they think, okay, he's just going to play attached tight end and he's going to be kind of that big Y. I don't see Savion Williams that way. However, remember how we used Christian Watson his rookie year, Tim? We would put him at the wing position, right? Which, if you guys don't know, it's right where the tight end lines up. It's just off the line of scrimmage, right? That's something Savion could do, especially you get him acclimated to blocking a nickel corner, because when he's out there, right, let's say on one side of the formation you got Tucker Kraft who's an attached Y, and then on the other side you've got Savion Williams playing wing. Well, he's going to count as a wide receiver. So when that defensive coach, when they're eyeballing the players going on and off the field, they're going to go 11 or Tiger, whatever their code word is. And what that's going to tell them is 3 wide receiver set. So they're going to match it with 3 cornerbacks, 2 safeties, 2 backers, and 4 defensive linemen, outside linebackers, whatever you want to call them, at 34. But when they do that, and now you got Savion out there on the field, they've got a cornerback on Savion. How tall is he? 6'4"? Is that what we said? 6'3", 6'4"?
Think so.
Yeah.
I think
and he's like 225 pounds. So now you've got this small corner there. Well, guess what? If he sifts over to peel that corner's cap in a run game, might as well be a tight end. I think that's what Randy's saying here too. So it's going to be fun to see how they utilize Savion for sure, man. I can't wait for that. But there you go. Thank you, Holmes. 6'4", 222. He's thick, Tim. No doubt about it, man.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
Might be a backup tight end for us if we need him to, right?
In a pinch, why not? And here's the thing. Quarterback coming out of high school, don't be surprised they run a little end. Imagine hitting him with a couple end arounds, then all of a sudden you turn it into a reverse pass. He sets up and throws the ball down the field. There's just a lot of things you can do with that.
Or we run the little direct snap to Tucker Kraft like we've done, but instead you run that to Savion and he he stops and throws it instead of diving through the pile. Love it.
Well, yeah, Tucker Craft. Gotta love it, dude. All right. Number 5 on the list. Can Jordan Morgan unseat Rasheed Walker at left tackle or start at right guard? You guys know last year, Jordan Morgan and Sean Ryan were splitting reps at right guard. Now, Jordan Morgan hurt his shoulder in training camp. It nagged him all year. It finally put him out for the year once it caught up with him. I will say this about Jordan Morgan. He showed grit. He tried to make it work. He tried to get out there and play. He changed positions. Guys, he played left tackle in high school and college. Never played any other offensive line position. He comes to the Packers. They throw him at right guard, and he was on pace to take that from Sean Ryan, okay? But there's rumors coming out of camp here, Tim, that he's going to compete with Rasheed Walker for left tackle. On the surface, I don't like it. I'd rather have Jordan Morgan playing right guard. However, you never know how that's going to play out. A critical camp battle is brewing at left tackle. The Packers' 2024 first-round pick, Jordan Morgan's challenging incumbent, Rasheed Walker, who is entering a contract year. It's a classic battle, a high-profile pick versus an established starter fighting for his future. This competition tests Green Bay's philosophy of developing offensive linemen. Stabilizing Jordan Love's blind side is critical for the entire offense. So whether Morgan proves ready or Walker holds him off will have massive ripple effect. So the question becomes, if you do put Jordan Morgan at left tackle, that means Rasheed Walker becomes the backup swing tackle, I would imagine. If Jordan Morgan wins the right guard job, then obviously Rasheed Walker is going to stay at left tackle, and now Sean Ryan becomes the swing guard, and probably Anthony Belton is your swing tackle. I don't care if Jordan Morgan beats him out for left tackle, Tim, or if he starts at right guard. I just want him to be starting in one of those spots just to know, okay, what I've seen on tape, I think Jordan Morgan's going to be a hell of a player. That's me personally. Problem is he's been banged up, and it's hard to bench press 300-pound lineman off of you when you got a torn-up shoulder the way it was last year. So I don't care where he plays, whether it's left tackle or right guard. I can see the positive for both, because if he does beat Rasheed Walker out for left tackle, you got Jordan Morgan under contract for 3 years, 2 after this year.
Yeah.
And you just let Rasheed Walker walk into free agency and you pick up a big comp pick because somebody's going to pay him probably over $15 million per.
Yeah. But that's a big if, right? We got to see that first. Let's see it. Let's see Jordan Morgan go out there and win that role. Cause I'm with you. I want him on the line. I'd prefer him at right guard, with Sheed staying there, just like, we're saying here in the article, it's stabilizing this position is critical. For the entire offense, really for the future of the team. So if we make another change again, that'll be what, Jordan's 3rd left tackle in how many seasons as a starter? I mean, you want to build some consistency there. Aaron had Big Dave for a great amount of time, blocking his blind side. And you can't understate that type of relationship between a right-handed quarterback and your starting left tackle. So if it is going to be Jordan Morgan, then you're right. The sooner the better. Let's get that, beat him out at camp, win the role. And you're right. We move on from Rasheed Walker, no harm, no foul. But ultimately, even if Rasheed remains the left tackle and we do give him the bag and he is here for a while, that could bode well for us too, because now we've solidified that side of our offensive line. And then you're right. Jordan Morgan can, compete at right guard or, a swing guard position.
Yeah. H.E. Solder says more interested in seeing what they do with Anthony Belton. Solder, I hope I'm wrong here, but to me, it feels like Belton is going to be kind of a red shirt player. And we've just been through mini camp. That's all we've seen. He may come out training camp and kick everybody's ass, Tim. That might happen. He might soar straight to the top. Heck, he might win left tackle. Who knows, right? But the rumors coming out from like Brian Balaga and Mark Tauser and those guys was they wanted to try to get Jordan Morgan competing with Rasheed Walker at left tackle, and they wanted Anthony Belton to compete for right guard. Now, that could be the case as well, but I think that's a great point by Solder. It just kind of feels like if Sheed beats out Jordan Morgan at left tackle and Jordan Morgan settles in at right guard, hopefully we don't use Anthony Belton this year, right? Now, here's another thing, and this is kind of a hot take because you guys know by now I don't like talking trades on here. You want to know how you get YouTube numbers up? Put in a trade rumor video. These trade rumors, and you hit that, oh, my God, it gets clicks out. I hate doing that stuff because wasting the energy, the time, energy, resources into deep diving a topic that you know is 95% not going to happen, I try to stay away from. And it's kind of – you're kind of tricking the viewer to to watch something that
Yeah.
deep down in your heart's probably not going to happen. However, if Anthony Belton comes out and Jordan Morgan comes out in training camp and they're both like lights out, both of these guys are one of the best 5. I wouldn't be surprised if Rasheed Walker gets traded. Wouldn't surprise me one bit.
No, me neither. And I got to tell you what I think about our boy, Big Sean. If you're Sean Ryan right now, you really got to be thinking to yourself, is there a spot for me as a starter on this football team? Is there a spot for me on this 53-man roster? Depending on how some of these younger guys shake up here on this O-line, plus the addition of Aaron Banks. We've pretty much got left guard locked in here, right? Once we sort things out with Big E and, we have our center situated. I'd be nervous if I'm Sean Ryan right now, honestly. I don't know. What do you think? I mean, because you're right. I mean, if Jordan Morgan's going to win a starting role, it's going to be right guard or left tackle. If it ends up being right guard, where do you see Sean Ryan? Is he your backup center? Is he your backup left guard? Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, yes to everything. I honestly think he's one of the. And people like to pile on Sean Ryan a little bit, but I'll tell you this, man. I thought he was on his way out going into last year, and you'll see on this Chalk Talk we're about to do. There's several times you see him get to the next level. You're like, holy cow, Sean Ryan had a pretty good year. So when it comes to Sean Ryan, I think the value is he can play center. He can play center in the pinch, right? Yeah. And he can play both guard spots. I would love to see him be the swing guard. Like I said, him the swing guard, Jordan Morgan starting at right guard, and then have Anthony Belton be the swing tackle and keep Rasheed. Because if you trade Rasheed and you get a 5th-round pick, I could give less than a – trying to think of something that isn't a bad word. I could care less about a 5th-round pick when you got one of the better left tackles in the game, which PFF had him, I think, as the 31st or 32nd best tackle in pro football. Not just left tackle. Let that tell you. He's a number 1 quality tackle. So you've literally got a top 10 tackle and Zach Tom on one side, Rasheed Walker on the other, is a starting caliber. It's hard for me to cut ties with all that. So
I agree.
Anyway. All right, that's going to do it for that. What we're going to do, guys, there's 10 on that list. So